every action that we are doing in our day-to-day lives, in our daily routine, is a part of the chemical reaction that takes place by the means of neuroscience and neuroplasticity. Apart from different versions and different divisions of neuroplasticity, which can be functional, which can be chemical, one of the main impactful practices that impacts our day-to-day life and every action that we do is chemical neuroplasticity. How does it impact and controls our life, and if at all, can we get the control of the chemical reactions that is going within us? And the answer is yes. It has been scientifically proven that you can get a control over the chemical reactions, over the chemical neuroplasticity division that is acting on behalf of you, and that is communicating with the cells and sending a message to every part of your body every single moment of the day. Are we aware of the fact that every moment it's a constant interaction and a constant exchange of message and signals that is happening between our brain cells and our body, and thereby it is communicating, thereby it is commanding our every action. And this command theory, this command, we can get a consistent control over this command, because at the end of the day, it is the game setting taking place between the minds. It is about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and the chemical reactions that get produced and that impact the day-to-day actions that you conduct, that you do in your life, and that we think that it is happening, but it is actually being done, and it is the output, it is the result of whatever the food that we are giving to our minds. Let's discuss further that how and what is this chemical neuroplasticity. For instance, you failed a very big examination, and on the other hand, you got a positive response from a partner with whom you've been in a relationship, you've been wanting to get married for a long period of time, but the person was not saying a yes, and suddenly you got a call just after the news that you failed an examination. You've got that phone call that yes, that person is ready to get married to you, and it was your dream. You've been chasing that dream for a very long time now, and this is the answer you got, but the timing coincided with a news of your failure of an examination. Now it depends on person to person that how the person is going to react. It completely depends on the emotional connect and the priority of the person, how you have prioritized your life and whatever you want in your life, what matters to you most, what impacts to you most. For instance, for a person who is head over heels over a person and who can go to any extent and who is deeply in love with a person, who can give away her or his entire world to make that relationship happen, for that person, it will be the positive news, and this positive news will overpower that bad news of the failure of the examination. So it will automatically send positive imprints and positive message to the brain cells. On the other hand, if a person is very career oriented and very serious about the studies and the career and how and what he becomes and what he makes of himself in the society, and relationships come secondary for that person, in that case, this news of failure, this bad news will empower the good news. This news will empower the news of the success of the relationship, and because he has failed the examination, he or she has failed the examination, so he will automatically collect and produce more and more negative imprints, and it will send to various cells of the body. This transition of emotions from good to bad, two kind of news a person encountered, and both news are of different versions of different nature. So there is a chemical reaction that gets produced whenever there is a transition of emotion. For example, a very bad news, you got upset, and a very good news immediately after that. So there is a sigh and a sense of relief, that happy moment. The transition from sad to happiness or from happy to a bad news, this transition is chemical neuroplasticity. Now, how this chemical neuroplasticity can be controlled, how this can be worked upon, and what impact it has on a normal common man and a spiritual seeker who is as normal, as engrossed in the day-to-day activity, a student, a person who is doing a job, a person who is doing a business, anything. The only thing that divides and differentiates a common man, a normal person, from a spiritual seeker is the impact and the way the neuroplasticity and the neuroscience impacts the brain cells of both these category of people. Now, let me come to a normal man. A normal person will react a normal person will obviously get very troubled because hearing he's got a bad news. So he will automatically collect the negative imprints, and it will automatically send those negative imprints to his subconscious and all parts of the body. He has failed 3 interviews, so it will become impossible for that common man to pass the 4th interview, because he has become very, very negative by that point of time, because he is very clear and he is sure about the fact that because he has failed the 3 interviews, so he cannot make the best in this 4th interview, and he is bound to fail, and he will fail. Now, when it comes to the spiritual seeker, what will happen is that spiritual seeker will send a lot of positivity within the brain cells. How? Because the spiritual seeker will get to know of a bad news, he will get sad, he will get worried, obviously, because the normal man, the common person, he felt worried and he sent those negative imprints. The spiritual seeker will also feel bad, will also feel sad, but the process and the time duration that it takes for the subconscious mind to collect those imprints within a fraction of a second, that subconscious mind, because you are training the subconscious mind, the spiritual seeker has been working on the subconscious mind, has been training, reprogramming the subconscious mind for a very long time now. So since the subconscious mind of a spiritual seeker, which will be much more equipped than a subconscious mind of a normal person, so the subconscious mind will deny those negative imprints. That no, he will deny those negative imprints by saying that no, I will not get afraid, because yes, it is very natural to get afraid, but then I will study and expose the character of fear. I will study and expose the character of sadness, of the bitter emotions, that this is not true. This is just a part of the illusion. This is part of the negative aura, negative energy, and I am equipped enough to not take it. There lies the difference, how the chemical neuroplasticity is impacting a normal person and the mind of a spiritual seeker. The mind of a spiritual seeker is much more equipped. The mind of a spiritual seeker is much more enlightened, much more powerful, and it knows exactly how to deal with the ups and downs of life. Spiritual science doesn't teach you, or doesn't teach any human being, that you become abnormal, that you don't feel the normal human emotions. A common man feels sad, he gets angered, he gets agitated. Same goes with the spiritual seeker. He has also, spiritual science never says that, okay, you are not allowed to get angry, you're not allowed to feel happy, you're not allowed to feel sad. But his emotions will be much more balanced, his emotions will be much more controlled, his emotions will be much more intelligent, because his subconscious will immediately not react, and it will deny any kind of negative imprint. And so if he has failed 3 interviews, the spiritual seeker will be confident that in the 4th interview I have to give my best, and the rest is to be left upon the Supreme Consciousness, and he will most likewise success, and he will most likewise achieve that success in his 4th interview, and he will make the best out of it. Dread 41 days of life-changing course, life-changing experience. Make the best out of it. Kill your dependencies, because see, at the end of the day, it is the dependencies that kill a person. It is the dependencies that make a person helpless. But when you know your mind, when you are studying your mind, and when you're working on your mind, then you get that power and you become empowered. What you have to do is take the help of spiritual practices. You can take the help of crystal healing. You can take the help of meditation practices. You can take the help of your daily prayer sessions. You can take the help of aura cleansing techniques. Spirituality has hell lot of techniques. There is no dearth of techniques. There are so many techniques. You can use any techniques that suits your body, mind and soul, but just keep one thing in mind: a technique that good for you, that may not be good for me. A technique that's suiting me may not suit you. Respect the individuality and follow only that technique which suits your body, mind and soul, and which is appropriate for you. And then there is no looking back. Empower your mind, gain that knowledge, and start working on yourself. And don't take spirituality to be that I am some monk, or I have to be a spiritual seeker, I have to give away the worldly affairs. If we want to win over the worldly affairs, then it is the spiritual science that will enable us, empower us. Dread no dependency, what the slavery dread.